It actually took over 50 hours to build these football boots, despite the fact that they cost 20 times less than a pair of boots that Messi owns, but I'll get back to that later. These football boots are so weird that they took over 50 hours to make. Who is the football player who forced workers to put in a total of 50 hours of overtime? Only for the purpose of giving him the opportunity to wear some iced-out boots on the field. The man in question is none other than Mr. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. When Aubameyang was playing for Saint-Étienne in 2012, he was a young player with a lot of potential. Everyone knew him already at the age of 23, not only for his lightning-fast speed and characteristic mohawk hairdo, but most importantly for his love of attention and bling. He was known for all of these things, and during a random game against Lyon, Aubameyang came on the pitch wearing a pair of sneakers that caused people all over the world to turn their heads in disbelief. Just take a look at how dazzling these one-of-a-kind Nike Vapor boots are. Incredible. The designers at Orevan were the ones who crafted them, and they have 4,000 of their crystals encrusted all over the boots. Aubameyang's initials, his shirt number, and even the club's crest are all featured on these cleats. Therefore, the price of these sneakers did not come as much of a shock to me at all when I saw it. At the time, these sneakers set our favorite Gabonese player back little more than $3,000. However, at the time, this kind of money represented a significant amount to Aubameyang. It turns out that he only wore them during practice. As soon as the game began, he took them off and replaced them with a pair of his regular boots. What a terrible shame. This man's only goal was to show everyone that he was the coolest, and he succeeded. If you had that amount of money, would you splurge on a pair of boots that were adorned with diamonds? To tell you the truth, I'm not sure, but I'm certain that Mohamed Sakho knew. And when he showed up to a friendly match against Brazil, he wore a pair of sunglasses that were so bright that they virtually blinded everyone else playing on the field. Sakho was thrilled to have just signed a contract to play for Liverpool and was looking forward to participating in the Premier League. Who wouldn't want that? Back in 2013, something occurred. Everyone aspired to play in the English Premier League. However, it would appear that he was more excited to play against Brazil than he was to play in the English Premier League since, on the day of the friendly, Sakho commissioned some custom-made Nike footwear that got everyone talking. And these were not any old boots by any means. They had more than 2,500 crystals on each foot, and the price was insane. Each pair of shoes ran him a total of $1,500 USD. And let me tell you, the boots are stunning in their own right. In contrast to the boots that Mario Balotelli used to wear, I think it's safe to say that we can all agree on this. There is little question that Super Mario ranks up there among some of the most heated players in the history of sport. He causes a lot of commotion and even manages to get a chuckle out of one of them, which led to the conclusion that they should create Mario some bespoke boots as a favor to him and offer him a deal. The footwear at first appeared to be of high quality. They had one that was printed with newspaper headlines and the words, "Why always Puma?" on it. Please unsubscribe if you are unable to understand what is being referred to here. After that, though, they showed off the brand new Puma EvoPower MB9. And have mercy on us, Lord. Take a gander at me, Mario. Where did you get those? The shoe contained Mario's well-known quotes. Why? Why do I always end up on them? That's very sweet. That is not the point at which I have a problem. But after that, you turn the shoe around and look at the rear of it. Puma has placed a piece of hair at the back of the boot's heel to symbolize Balotelli's signature mohawk. It would appear that they went a little overboard with the personalization options for this one. Who in the name of God would put anything like that on? Can you even realize what it would have been like if they had done the same thing to a player, say covering Fellaini entirely with hair? However, Fellaini did indeed flaunt a pair of boots that should really only be seen on fans. Thankfully, they didn't do it, but Fellaini did. You did hear me correctly, I assure you. Back in 2013, a company known as Warrior was keen to make their debut in the football market. They came out with a boot that they termed the Gambler in cooperation with Meruane. The shoes are not terrible by any means. Nothing to write home about. If you turn it over and look at the back, there is quite literally a hole in the back of it. That brings us to the next point. It should make it easier to get them onto your feet, according to the legend. All oak, certainly. And why not? The problem is with the name. They came to the conclusion that this particular one should be given. They referred to it in a literal sense as the glory hole. Don't bother looking up glory hole on Google if you don't already know what it is. Don't say I didn't. However, that is not even the most disappointing aspect. Take a look at the term that has become popular. They used to advertise this hole as having a precision fit for usage in difficult circumstances. Warrior, it's time to move on. I don't know who the hell on their marketing team was thinking when they let this one slip, but at least they didn't get into any truck that was operating legally. On the other hand, David Beckham's boots nearly landed him in jail for a period of 6 months. In order to play for the LA Galaxy, David Beckham has recently relocated to the city of Los Angeles. However, things were already beginning to go wrong, and it was all due to the boots he was wearing. It just so happens that it is against the law in the state of California to hunt and kill kangaroos, but Adidas provided David Beckham some unique boots that they called the Adidas Predator. The name was extremely apt, considering that the boots were made from kangaroo skin, and the term was very well picked. Therefore, he was looking at a fine of $5,000, or a prison sentence of 6 months. Clearly, the decision to pay the fine was made by the multimillionaire Bridge. The boots, along with every other type of boot that had been created with kangaroo skin, were eventually rendered illegal in their whole. But hey, Beckham's boots at least looked cool, which is a good thing considering the following one on the list is nothing to get excited about at all. In this particular instance, I will get right to the point. For a pair of footwear that was supposed to be modeled like dragons, these boots are simply repulsive. These are the things that are completely opposed to fire. Adidas and Yohji Yamamoto, a well-known fashion designer from Japan, worked together to release these shoes in the year 2014. They had the intention of creating something that none of us had ever encountered before. And please don't get me wrong, the man is an excellent designer. Nonetheless, it is quite evident that he blew it with these boots. In the spirit of the pun, I hope that the players are inspired to play together harmoniously, and that the boots offer them the extra confidence they need to express themselves without any inhibitions. People should not be inhibited from expressing who they are. Just make sure you listen to your gut. This is how he characterized them. He said, "I don't know about you, but for me and my friends, this boot brings us together and instills in us the assurance that we can confidently toss them away without feeling any remorse. If you keep anything like this under your mattress, you'll finally be able to say that there's a monster in there." During the time of George Best, a pair like this one would have never been commercially available. Things were a lot easier to understand and deal with back then. Now, I am aware that you may consider this to be absurd at this very moment. There was a time when the only color allowed for football footwear was black. There was only one man at the time who had the swagger and lifestyle to market these boots. Designers weren't attempting to cause a stir by using dragons or mohawks, but when they decided they wanted to try something different, there was only one man who could promote these boots. On the football field, George Best was unrivaled. Sure. However, he enjoyed the nightclubs even more so in 1974. He purchased some customized stylo matchmakers that had a white stripe running from the toe to the heel of the shoe. To our ears, it seems quite regular, but in those days, people went absolutely crazy for stuff like this. However, as you can see, Best was not the only one to change things up in the 70s. During the Charity Shield match between Everton and Chelsea, Alan Ball Jr. went one step further and did something even more outrageous. Although Alan was sick of always being the same, He made the decision to show up to the field wearing white boots, even though the other players had arrived with their normal black footwear. He was the one to beat. In the 1970s, he was the equivalent of Neymar. And the best thing is that he really got paid more than $2,400 to wear these sneakers. While that might not sound like much in today's standards, it's important to keep in mind that back in those days, ballers didn't make millions of dollars. It was wonderful up to the point when it started to rain and the black appeared, at which point I became less pleased. As the representatives from Hummel watched what I had done, I decided it was time to part ways with the $2,000. Ellen deserves a lot of credit for it. He is not going to let anything, not even thousands of dollars, convince him to give up on his performance goals. But let's return to the here and now and take a look at Lionel Messi, who is widely considered to be among the best players of all time. See, he was wearing a pair of boots that had the potential to fetch a sum that was 200 times greater than what Allen had negotiated for. And before you leave this page, every one of you who support Ronaldo should know that you are the reason I had to call him one of the greatest. Don't leave my side, okay? You won't be let down in any way. Do you remember back in the year 2020 when Leo scored his 644th goal for Barcelona? So surpassing P's record for the most goals scored for a single club. Now, rather than celebrate this accomplishment by going out to the club with his friends, he made the decision to auction off his game-worn footwear for the benefit of a charitable organization. This guy is one of a kind, for sure. Do you have any idea how much they went for on the market? Put it in the comment section at this very moment. I can assure you that you will be taken aback. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to get the most out of the football-related stuff available on YouTube. Ready, the boots were finally sold for a total of $173,000. That is unfathomably excessive for a single set of footwear. But to tell you the truth, with a player like Messi, I wouldn't be surprised if they were sold for more than $1 million. The man himself is one in a million, so it makes sense that his memorabilia would fetch such a high price. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to our channel Luxe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. She's a